Upgrading blindly at any blacksmith in Dragon's Dogma 2 is a mistake. There are 4 distinct blacksmith styles that each come with their own strengths and weaknesses, and today we'll cover all 4 and how to unlock the 4th one. Let's go! Let me know what style you're using in the comments. The Vermundian style is the first one you get access to, and that just is in Vernworth, which you've definitely seen. This style enhances all attributes evenly for a piece of equipment, including lowering its overall weight. Now, to do some little comparisons here, I'm using an iron sword and a soldier's helm because I am completely broke after buying gear for all these vocation guides. I have like no money, so we're just going to go with some basic equipment here just to sort of demonstrate some of these comparisons. So for the weapon category, the weight goes down 0.04 at level 1 and the strength goes up by 7. At 2, the weight doesn't change, it still goes down by 0.04 and the strength goes up 9. And at 3, the weight goes down the same amount and the strength goes up 12. For the soldier's helm at level 1 upgrade, the weight goes down 0.03 with the defense going up 4 and the magic defense going up 3. And this stays the same until the 3rd upgrade where the magic defense goes up 1 extra point. Now, the specific upgrade amounts will be different depending on the equipment piece, but I still think it's a worthwhile experiment just using these as an example and using that as our baseline, right? So consider that the Vermundian style being the first style you get access to and just being the essentially enhancing all attributes across the board. This is sort of your baseline to consider comparing it with the other styles. Now, the Elven style is found in the Sacred Arbor in North Vernworth. Now, this style enhances magic and magic defense, but has little effect on strength and defense. Now, I did use an iron sword and a staff here just to show the overall differences. Because an iron sword doesn't increase its magic, the staff here will actually. But iron sword, level 1, the weight goes down the same amount at 0.04. The strength goes up 3. At level 2, the weight goes down the same amount. The strength goes up 6 rather than 9. And at level 3, the weight goes down 0.04 and the strength goes up 10 rather than 12. Now, for the staff here, you can clearly see how magic focused the Elven style is, right? At level 1, the weight goes down 0.03, the strength goes up 1, but the magic up is 7. And at level 2, the weight goes down 0.02, strength goes up 1, magic up is 10. And at level 3, it's the same weight, the strength goes up 2, however, and the magic goes up 17. Now, obviously, this is a style that if you are using a strength-based equipment, you aren't going to be using this for your upgrades, but you can clearly see the drastic differences in the magic scaling for using a magic weapon like the staff here. For the soldier's helm, the numbers are very similar to Vermundian, right? So the weight goes down 0.03 at all levels, same with the defense going up by 4 at all levels, the same as Vermundian. And for the magic defense, it actually goes up by 4 at level 2 and level 3 rather than just being by 4 at level 3. Now, I wouldn't really be using this style for your armor upgrades across the board anyway, because for the most part, you're going to want both defense and magic defense on your armor, right? Like, there is a lot of damage that comes, especially defensive like damage, like strength-based weapons just by being smacked by creatures all the time. You're going to want defense, and the magic defense is pretty negligible, like the upgrade differences here. So really, it's not a style I'd be using for armor, but definitely it's really good for those magic upgrades. The Batali style is the 3rd one that is found in Back Batal, which is sort of like in the west of Batal. Now, this style focuses on greatly increasing strength and defense with little effect on magic and magic defense. However, it does also increase the weight amount of the item. So it's basically the opposite of Elven, except now it also increases the weight of the item. So back to our iron sword, at level 1, your weight's going to go up by 0.05 and the strength's going to go up by 7. At level 2, the weight, it goes up by the same amount with the strength going up by 10, which is 1 more than Vermundian. And at level 3, the weight goes up by the same amount with the strength going up 17, which is 5 more than Vermundian. So basically, everything except the final rank is essentially the same. So if you're struggling for weight, you could then stick with the Vermundian and then just grab the Batali style on that 3rd upgrade, which is where you get the most bang for your buck with that strength upgrade. So looking at the soldier helm here at level 1, it's a 0.04 weight up. Defense goes up 4 and magic defense goes up 3. At level 2, it's exactly the same. Weight goes up same amount, defense goes up 4, magic defense goes up 3, and it's exactly the same at level 3. Its weight goes up by 0.04, defense up 4, magic defense up 3. So essentially here, it's very similar to the Vermundian style. Now, I did play around with some of the other pieces of equipment just to see if these numbers are higher, and they are slightly higher with some different equipment here, but overall it's very similar to Vermundian. It's just essentially increasing the overall weight of the item, which isn't necessarily a good thing if you're not gaining any benefits here from the armor side. So again, it's probably not one I would hugely focus on for armor upgrades. The fourth style is the Dwarven style. Now the Dwarven style is unlocked either in Bac Batal by a dwarf hidden there that has a very specific quest that you can discover yourself, or via heading down to the Volcanic Island and following the very first quest you get in that region, which is definitely the easiest way to do it. So the Volcanic Island is accessible from South Batal. If you head all the way down there at any time once you've reached Batal, it's a pretty long journey, but you head down there and then cross the border. There'll be a dwarf just like essentially standing there on the main road. He will have a quest line that you can essentially follow all the way to the end, which will lead you to the Volcanic Island camp, and then you will unlock him as a dwarven vendor, but also this will unlock the Magic Archer vocation for you as well. Now after that point, you can then return to his house. He'll be there and be a typical blacksmith vendor. He does sell some pretty good high level gear if you want to buy some stuff from him, but he does upgrade to the Dwarven style. The Dwarven style imbues weapons with additional knockback power and renders armor more resistant to being knocked down, while also increasing the overall stats and increasing the weight. Now back to the Iron Sword. At level 1 here, the weight goes up by 0.05, the strength goes up 6, and the knockdown power goes up by 22. At level 2, the weight goes up the same, the strength goes up 9, and the knockdown power goes up by 28. And at level 3, it's strength up 12 and knockdown power up 34. So if you're looking at this to compare with the Vermundian style, it is essentially the exact same stats, except for that knockdown power going up 34 and obviously the weight going up as well. So the trade-off here for the additional weight is really that additional knockdown power, and the same thing really happens with the soldier's helm as well. The weight goes up by 0.04, the defense is up 4, the magic defense is up 3, and the knockdown power up 7. At level 2, everything's the same except the knockdown power goes up 8, and at level 3, it's all the same except magic defense goes up 4 and knockdown power goes up 9. So now that we've looked at all the different styles, you might be thinking which style is the best, and they all have their own strengths and weaknesses and vocations that you should use them for. The Vermundian style is obviously best early gamers, it's the main one that you get, but even across from that point, it's still really good for the Mystic Spearhand because they use both strength and magic, and because it upgrades all of these together, then the Mystic Spearhand gets a lot of benefits from that. The Magic Archer could also use the Vermundian style. Now, for armor, it's really good across any vocation as it's an even upgrade to all those attributes that we've already discussed, and it doesn't increase your weight. It does lower that weight, which is really good for the smaller characters that, don't have a high amount of carry weight. The Elven style is best for the magic-based classes like your mage and your sorcerer, magic archer as well. But I also really like the trickster here because increasing your magic as a trickster increases the health of your illusion, and that's sort of the main focus there, whereas like strength and magic aren't used offensively in that way as a trickster. They're a little different, but the higher health that your illusion is, the longer it'll survive, which is the main focus for the trickster. I wouldn't be upgrading your armor in the Elven style really at all. There isn't much of a benefit to it because it only focuses on that magic defense. The Batali style is really best for archers and thieves that want that additional strength on their weapons. However, the additional weight is something to really consider here, especially for the first couple of levels, that the difference is pretty negligible compared to the Vermundian style, right? You may as well do like level 1 and level 2 in the Vermundian style and then do level 3 in the Batali style to get the maximum benefits from your strength increase without having to incur all that additional weight. Obviously, this is good for the fighter and the warrior as well, although I do believe that the other one is better, but it's also not that bad for armor, right? Like majority of the damage you're going to take in the game is going to be strength based, so it will use your defensive stat, but like lacking some of that magic defense for certain bosses and certain encounters is something that you should consider why it may be better not to use this for that as well. So the Dwarven is more situational and only really usable if you can handle the additional weight, right? It is extremely good for fighter and warrior who want to knock down enemies often, and armor wise want to be resistant to being knocked down themselves, right? The main reason that it's best for these vocations typically is because your fighters and warriors are larger characters with higher carry carry weight, so they can handle that additional weight increase. Though really the only trade-off being the additional weight for essentially the same stats as the Vermundian style, but with the addition of all that knockdown power, all that knockdown resistance. And if you can handle that additional weight, it's really good for any Vocations armor upgrades, because across the board the stats are essentially the same as the Vermundian style, so you still get all that defense and that magic defense, but you also get that massive amount of additional knockdown resistance, but then that weight increase is the trade-off there. But if you can handle that weight increase, it's really good for all those Vocation upgrades. But let me know what style you're picking in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. My name is Norza, and I hope you have a great day.